Next up is going to be Ashford. This is ticker AINC. And there's Jeremy. Jeremy Welter. How's it going, Jeremy?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I am having a good day. So far, so good. I will let you take it away. Just a quick reminder, this is ticker AINC.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining and taking the time. Ashford Inc. is an asset management company and fee-based service provider. We're focused in the hospitality sector. Jordan, if you can flip through to the, let's start right here. We're focused exclusively in the hospitality sector. So for anyone that wants to participate in the recovery coming out of the pandemic, we certainly were ground zero for the pandemic. Our sector got hit really, really hard, but we're seeing the rebound and we're seeing it come back very aggressively and very quickly. And we're very optimistic in the long-term outlook, for our business. We have two main basically verticals. The first one, which I'm going to walk through, is on the right-hand side of the screen. And that's our asset management business. We call it the AUM business, assets under management. We have two perpetual life publicly traded REITs. So these are New York Stock Exchange hotel REITs. One is Braemar Hotels and Resorts. That REIT is basically the highest RevPAR REIT that's in the industry. And what that means is the highest revenue per available room. It's focused on luxury assets. It's really, really high quality real estate. And we have a long-term agreement to basically oversee the assets under management for that REIT. And we get a fee for doing that service. And then we also have another publicly traded REIT, which is Ashford Hospitality Trust, ticker symbol AHT. And that's more of a diversified REIT. It's got focuses more on the upscale segments, which would be, think Marriott, Hilton, Renaissance type hotels, and then a little bit of select service as well. And that REIT as well is externally advised by Ashford Inc. And so we have a long-term agreement to run the day-to-day of that REIT as well. And so we get a fee for providing asset management services to both of those REITs. It's calculated off of total assets under management. I think we call it total market cap or equity market cap. And that's basically debt plus equity times an asset management fee of 70 basis points. And as part of that agreement, we also have the ability to provide services to the REITs for the hotels that the REITs own. And we have the exclusive right to do that so long as we do it at market-based rates. And so we have this services side of the business, which is on the left-hand side, and it's a collection of hospitality fee-based service providers. And so we in each one of these businesses are different companies that have their own CEO. They're subsidiaries of ours. We call them portfolio companies, and they focus on providing services both to our REITs as well as for other third parties, other hotel owners that are not affiliated with the Ashford umbrella. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Remington. Remington is the 9th largest hotel property management company. It is a fee-based service provider, very high margins, great cash flow, and that company manages about 70 or 80 hotels for Ashford, as well as another 15 or so outside of our umbrella that would be for third parties. And then we also have Braemar, which is a renovation, construction, design company, and that business is another fee-based service provider. And so it focuses on renovating hotels. We do hotel renovation both for our REITs as well as for third parties as well. It is a great business. They've won tons of awards with brands for some of the renovations that we've done through Braemar. And we basically do, like I said, anywhere from architecture, design. We do procurement services, as well as oversee the construction of renovating hotels. There's another business that we have, which is JSAV, and that's the second largest audiovisual service company in the hospitality sector. And JSAV was a great story for us. We bought the company in the end of 2017, so call it 2018. And JSAB at the time was about $4.3 million in EBITDA. We were on pace to more than triple the size of that business in 2020. However, the pandemic came, and obviously there were not a lot of events and meetings taking place. So they've done a lot of virtual shows, but that business was hit pretty severely. But it also is a business that we were very optimistic that will recover as part of this recovery story. And we are very optimistic in the long-term outlook of JSAB. Red is a water sports company that basically we own boats. We provide services mainly for luxury type resort properties. We have a fleet of boats in the Caribbean, Key West, as well as the U.S. Virgin Islands. That business is having record performance this year. It has just been on fire. We're experiencing a tremendous amount of demand at our resort properties, and it's a great fee-based business as well. We typically get about 30% cash-on-cash returns for anything that we invest through Red. So there's really good unlevered returns on invested capital as well. Moving on, we also have our own Ashford Securities, which is a capital raising platform. It's a FINRA licensed broker-dealer, and that business exists to raise assets under management for our REITs, as well as other new platforms that we are launching outside of our publicly traded REITs. So new real estate platforms that we plan to launch. We're in the process of doing that here soon. But we just formed that broker-dealer recently, and we're in the market raising capital, and we're basically raising capital every 2 weeks in terms of non-traded preferred that provide more assets under management at Braemar. And so it's a great way for us to grow our AUM business. And every time we grow assets under management, and if Braemar or Ashford Trust buy more hotels, that gives us the opportunity to cross-sell our services. And so there's a lot of incremental profitability as we grow our assets under management. OpenKey is the largest mobile key provider in the hospitality sector. That's a technology company that we incubated. And we basically can skip the front desk, go direct to your room using your phone to open your door. And then we also have Pure Wellness, which is basically a sanitized room system that we have with air purification systems and processes that are better than HEPA filter quality. And so it's a good upgrade that we offer to our hotel rooms, as well as we also operate in the office sector as well. If we can move, Jordan, to let's go to page 7. There's 3 ways we can grow our business. The first one is growing our assets under management. So if we can grow our assets under management, it grows not only our advisory service, it grows all of the ancillary businesses that we have in our products and services segment. So our property management company grows, our renovation and construction company grows, JSAB, our audiovisual services company grows, OpenKey has the ability to grow. That's as we grow assets under management and buy more real estate, we get both, like I said, the advisory fee as well as these third-party these other service providers. We also have the ability to grow third-party, which is growing our businesses outside of the Ashford umbrella, outside of our assets under management. So it can be we have relationships with unaffiliated hotel owners that want us to renovate their hotels. They hire us to do their audiovisual services, as well as hire us to manage their properties in many cases. And that's a great way for us to grow our business as well. And then the other thing that's part of our initiative is to expand our service offerings. So we originally started with at Ashford Inc., we originally started with just this asset management business, and we have added property management, which is Remington. We added Premier, which is a construction renovation company. We've also added JSAB and Red. And so we've expanded already our service providing offerings, but we also have the ability to do that. And we're in the market now to buy or incubate more businesses. If we go to page 8, this is an important slide to walk through is how we grow our assets under management. So we have the 2 publicly traded REITs, And those REITs can raise capital in the public market, so we have access to publicly traded capital. We also have Ashford Securities, which is our proprietary broker-dealer, and that has an alternative investment strategy to raise capital. And so we have access to alternative capital markets. We've issued our first offering, which is a $500 million non-traded preferred at Braemar. We're in the process of, as I mentioned, we launched that product offering, and we're raising capital every 2 weeks of new non-traded preferred that we're able to use the proceeds of that capital at Braemar to buy more hotels. And as we buy more hotels, we're able to provide more services to those hotels. And then we also have AUM growth goals. And so as we're able to grow assets under management, our business is incredibly scalable, and we have exponential growth as we add more assets under management, because as I mentioned, you're not only doing advisory services, you're doing this cross-sell of all these other services in our hotels as well. If we go to page 9, let's go back to page 9 real quick. This is an important part. So I mentioned the assets under management business, the advisory platform, our asset management platform. It's an incredible business. It's almost like a SaaS revenue model. If you're familiar with software companies, basically we have these long-term sustainable contracts with these REITs, and it's very difficult for those contracts to be terminated. And if they're terminated, it's a very sizable fee that would be paid to Ashford Inc. And so I view these as almost like an annuity stream in our core business. And we get the advisory fees, and then also we have some incentive fees if we have outside shareholder performance, which we've earned in the past. And then we also have the right to cross-sell our services into the hotels that are advised platforms by, which I think is a great advantage for us as well. If you go to page 10, this is an interesting slide here, because what we're showing here is that we have the high margin fee business, which is our advisory business. We have Remington, we have Premier. Lismore is another capital raising firm that does debt brokerage as we procure more debt for our REITs. And then we also have these additional profitable income streams, which I mentioned: JSCB, Red, Open Key, and Pure. And if we're able to grow our assets under management by 5%, well, you can see that because of the ability to add our other services, it is basically a 15% increase in our EBITDA at Ashford Inc. And so that shows the power, the scale, the ability to provide more services to our hotels. That's just in our core business today. That doesn't assume that we have new investment platforms, which we do plan to launch. It doesn't assume that we have additional service companies, which we do plan to acquire or incubate. And as you can see, 10% is a 31% growth in EBITDA. So it is a very scalable platform. And as we add $1 of assets under management, it is very incrementally profitable to our business and our core platform. If we keep going to another slide, let's go to the next one. Yeah, so our business model, this is how we grow. We acquire, incubate great companies. So we can look at a good example would be Red, which we started with 1 boat after Hurricane Irma. We are now up to 20 boats, a fleet of boats. We believe that Red is likely to generate $5 million or so in EBITDA this year. And so we're very excited about Red as a growth story for us. And that's a company that we just basically incubated with the acquisition of just 1 boat. And we're in multiple markets now. We're in the U.S. Virgin Islands. We're in Key West. We also just recently expanded into Turks and Caicos. Ritz-Carlton hired us. They love the partnership. They love the service we provide in the U.S. Virgin Islands at Ritz-Carlton St. Thomas. And so when they opened a new hotel in Turks and Caicos, they hired us. And that's a third-party contract. It's not anything that's affiliated with our assets under management business. And so you can see as we add these different services, we're able to grow not only within our portfolio companies, we can grow outside of our portfolio companies as well. And so we accelerate their growth. After we buy a company, we're able to accelerate the growth by adding our business from our REITs. And then our goal is to generate great returns and for our shareholders, and we've got a proven track record of doing that. Obviously, we were hit pretty heavily during COVID, but our core business is really strong, and we are very excited about the recovery that we anticipate and that we're actually in the midst of experiencing right now. If you go to page 13, this is basically our attempt for kind of a mid to long-term guidance of what we believe that our business will achieve if you look at 2025. Okay, so in 2019, you can look at our status quo, adjusted EBITDA, we're about $58 million. The pandemic hit us pretty hard. We went down to $29 million in 2020. Fast forward into 2025, our expectation, and if we were to look at what we think that this business can generate is $85 million in adjusted EBITDA. And so that's what we're working towards for 2025. My hope is that we exceed that. But if you look at 2025 and you say, okay, $85 million in EBITDA, and you're able to discount that back to the present value, present day today, and then remove our debt and our preferred, you can calculate your own anticipation of what reasonable multiple you would apply to our business, and what implied stock price value is today. And we do believe that we are trading at a significant discount to the inherent value of our business because the recovery is underway. We see it happening. We continue to execute on our business plan, and we think that there's a great amount of opportunity for us to continue to grow and have outsized shareholder returns, outside growth coming out of the pandemic. If we go to, I want to go to one last slide here as we kind of go through on, let's go down to page 21. Yeah, so on this last slide, before we go to Q&A, this walks through our business and what we think our CAGR is for each one of our business lines. And so what you can see is that if we hit our projections, our estimates that we're working towards achieving in 2025, that we hope to achieve, that would be a 24% compounded annual growth rate. And that is reasonable. It's very achievable when you think in terms of how hard our business was hit in the hospitality sector. And so I think with very realistic projections, both with how we plan to grow our assets under management, how we plan to grow outside Ashford, and then just the general recovery of the hospitality industry, we believe that there's great growth trajectory in our business. And for those that want to participate in the recovery of hospitality, we think Ashford Inc. is a great story and great opportunity for investors. So with that, I'll turn over to questions and answers.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeremy. I have just one quick question for you. I'm personally not very familiar with asset managers like yourself. So, I think you hinted at, I think you told a little bit of sort of the origination story for one of your hospitality companies in the Caribbean, but like a Red, like how did you guys, you started with one boat for Red, like where did that idea ever come from?
Well, it actually, yeah, that's a great question. So our hotels at Braemar, so we'll look at Braemar, which is one of our REITs. It acquired the Ritz-Carlton in St. Thomas. And the predecessor to Red was a service provider for our hotel in St. Thomas. And so when we acquired the asset in 2015, I actually experienced the service offering by by its predecessor, but same management team, our same CEO, and it's basically a very high end experience. They had a catamaran called the Lady Lindsay, and they had the exclusive contract with our Ritz-Carlton at the time.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and then fast forward, Irma hit, wiped out their business. We were actually under contract to buy the business, and then we basically rebuilt it with the management team. And it's one of our businesses that actually induces demand in our resorts because people go to the U.S. Virgin Islands to experience the boating that we have and the service offering we have.
So is that something that is sort of common where you buy a group and they have kind of these little, maybe one-off assets, and then you kind of look into that asset a little bit and you're like, oh, actually we wouldn't mind having this boat company in our portfolio? Does that happen rather often?
Yeah, it could be that.
Cool.
We look at where we are having third parties run parts of our business, and in our hotels, in our hotel real estate. And we think, we've historically have been a property management company, and that goes all the way back to the late 60s. And we believe it's a business that we do reasonably well. And so we look through our P&Ls and look at all the different service providers we have in our hotels and see if there's an opportunity for us to get into that business and actually add more value than what the existing service provider does.
Sure.
So we do that. We did that with JSAV. When I bought JSAV in the end of 2017, we didn't have any hotels that contracted with JSAV. And so we added all of our properties. They had about 55 hotels with third parties, and we added all our properties. And then with a little bit of additional growth, got it up to 100 properties pre-pandemic, but that tripled the size of the EBITDA within a couple of years. And so you can see how we're able to grow and accelerate the growth of these businesses through our platform, and then also commercialize them outside of Ashford.
Right. Got it. Makes sense. Yeah. Thanks for explaining that. I'm a little bit more of a lay person when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I appreciate you speaking to, the other audience members out there who may be a little bit like myself. Thanks for coming on today, Jeremy Welter. He is from Ashford. That's ticker AINC. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Later.